Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the kitchen. I'm going to show y'all a recipe and then we'll move out to the grill. But right this second, we gotta make the stuff to go on the Boston butt, the chicken quarters, and the ribs. It's going to be sticky. They call it the sticky chicken, the sticky ribs. So if you're a diabetic, this probably ain't your recipe. Main ingredient: brown sugar, fine powder onions, garlic, black pepper, Old Bay, kosher salt, and some rosemary. Some people don't like rosemary. This just kind of gives some look to it. It's got a little bit of flavor, but you can leave that off. So you're going to need a bowl. All right, so we're going to put 3 pounds of brown sugar in a bowl. That's got to be one dull knife. I haven't found the difference between using light brown sugar and dark brown sugar. I can't taste no difference in this recipe. Mike can only get 2 pounds in here. I don't know. We're going to find out. There is no measuring. We're just going to go with 2 pounds. Alright, so we got the brown sugar in here. Get me a spoon. So we're going to level off the brown sugar. Not that it makes a whole lot of difference, but it does in just a minute. So first off, we want to take the Old Bay. And we want to put enough Old Bay to cover the whole top of the brown sugar. So what we're trying to do each level is to change the color. So we're going to cover all of the brown sugar. Once the cover has changed once it has changed colors, we're going to go to the next color. Black pepper. Garlic. And now the onion. Now the onion will get clumps on you. A lot of times I like to break them clumps up. Kosher salt. And the rosemary, which typically, like I said, some people like it, some people don't. It's not a whole lot of rosemary in there, considering how much brown sugar it is. So there it is. Now mix it all together. You want to get it all mixed in real good. Once you get it mixed in, you're going to want to taste it. And there should not be any spice or other ingredient that should be stronger than any other ingredient. So with that being said, like Old Bay, you shouldn't be able to pick out that there's Old Bay in there. You shouldn't be able to pick out the onion in it, and so on. It should just be basically the same taste all the way through. If one is outpowering, add a little bit more brown sugar. If you can't taste one item, you can add a little bit more to it. It's not a magical number. Doesn't have to be completely stirred up because we're going to put it in a Ziploc bag, and there we can stir it up. But just get you a little pinch. Get you a pinch. Taste it. Like I said, you shouldn't be able to taste one item overpowered. That's it. I'm telling you. All right, now it's in the Ziploc. You can shake it up, get it real good. Now what I like to do is you can put it in the freezer and use it. Say you only want to use this much for some chicken or some ribs, you can put the rest of it in the freezer. But that's it. All right, so you can tell the scenery changed. She's got the ingredients over there. We got 3 Boston butts, 2 racks of ribs, and a case of chicken quarters. Chicken's gonna be last. We ain't playing around with chicken. First we're gonna get the butts. We're gonna rinse them. Some people don't like to rinse their butts. Your butts need to be rinsed. They stink. Anyway, they got blood on them. They got bones, fragments. There's little pieces of bone where they cut down it. It's just better to rinse it. Get them. Then we're gonna put them in these bags that she was working on. Them big old Ziplocs I showed you. There's 2 scoops of brown sugar in each one. We're gonna put the butt in them, rub it around. Probably come back and add another cup later, but at the moment it's just 2. So, all right, now it's time for the chicken. So this is where obviously you want to be very clean with the chicken. So these are chicken quarters. When I take the chicken quarters out, I like to rinse them also. But there's also sometimes on chicken quarters where they don't process them or process them really fast, and sometimes there's some fat and feather parts. So I always like to keep a knife and cut that out while I'm rinsing them and then putting them in that bag of ingredients. So let's get to it. This part of the fat right there, I usually cut that off. Nobody really wants to eat that anyway. Definitely get around this bone area. Typically pull that off too. All right, can you hold that bag open? Like right here. You don't want that piece of, looks like another organ in there. Clean that out. You're gonna get that with these big bags of chicken. Nasty chunk of fat. You're gonna want to get that brown sugar all over it. So rotate it around and then come back in a couple hours and do it again. Make sure that brown sugar is getting everywhere. We're gonna do the same thing with the Boston butts. Get that brown sugar, get it all stirred up. The more it marinates, the more that this is gonna turn into a liquid. But try to get that brown sugar, any clumps, bust them up. And then do it again in a couple hours. All right, so messing with chicken, clean up. Clean up, spray everything, soap, water, get everything back clean because you don't want to make nobody sick. do the exact same thing that I just did for the rack of ribs. These are frozen. I mean, they're hard, so I can't even put them in a bag yet. So I'm gonna let them sit out just for a little bit. Not a bad price for a rack of ribs. 2 racks, 20 bucks. A decent size rack too. So, all right. Letting them marinate. We're gonna let them marinate for 24 hours and then cook them tomorrow. All right, it's 5:15 in the morning. It's cooking time. Breakfast of champions. The old barbecue humbly. Let's get to it. All right, so I am going to show you in this video first the chicken going on before I show you the butts. And that's the reason, because I don't want you to watch the butt and be like, ah, and then end the video. You just gotta wait it out on the butts. All right, so it's time to put the chicken quarters on. Got gloves back on. We ain't playing with the chicken. I'm gonna put it on a certain way. I'll show you how I'm doing it. And there is a reason to the madness. So the chicken will be 3 hours, hour and a half on one side, then we'll flip it, and then an hour and a half on the other side. All right, let's get to it. All right, there you go. They're all stacked in the same way. Saves on space for the grill. Look at that yellow tint to them, where that brown sugar is. All right, let me give you a tour of the trailer here. The old BBQ Hunley, but it's on a pop-up camper. So it's got legs down at the bottom, so I can jack it up, make it level. Put a toolbox in the front, and there's the bottle holder, toolbox. That's an adjustable pressure regulator. We can cook steaks on this. Temperature go up to 500. I've had it pegged out. All right, it's time to flip the chicken. All right, we got them all flipped. This way, cooking them face up to start with, is if any piece gets stuck on the grill, then it's on the back side, doesn't matter. But also, when you're cooking them, now all this grease and blood that's gonna come up, you're gonna know it's cooked when there's clear fluid all on top. So another hour and a half. All right, so let's get started on the Boston butts. A lot of people are gonna say that's not grilling. You're using propane. That's not grilling. I'm not getting into the charcoal versus pellets versus propane versus, I don't rightly care. This is a recipe that you can use on chicken, pork, butts, racks of ribs, beef ribs, whichever ribs you want, pork or beef. This recipe works on all of them. If you use pellet, it doesn't matter. It's the brown sugar that caramelizes that makes everything. So with this Boston butt, people are going to comment and say, you're not really grilling. You can do that in the oven. You can do that in a crock pot, whatever. This, until you try it, just give it a try one time and then come back and comment. So we're gonna put a pan, we're gonna put the butt in it, we're gonna put apple cider vinegar, we're gonna put the butt in it, we're gonna put the butt fat up so that everything cooks through. That brown sugar has been marinating for 24 hours. We're gonna put some Sweet Baby Ray's on top, and then we're gonna cover it in aluminum foil. Technically, that is like a crock pot. Technically, it's like an oven, but the apple cider vinegar will soak up into the butt, and the whole butt will be so juicy and moist. It is not dry. It is amazing. Me personally, that's not the way I truly like to cook my butts. I like mustard base, but when I'm cooking for a lot of people, if I cook both of them the way I want them and this way, there won't be nothing left for that way. And everybody's wanting me to make more. So when I'm doing it for a big venue, I cook it this way. So let's get to it. I always like to double bag mine because it will leak. All right, apple cider vinegar. We want to fill it 3/4 of the way. Sweet Baby Ray on top. Now cover. I prefer you use this brand. I may be partial to it. All right, so don't worry about mixing that up. It will bake inside of there. Some people's gonna call it roast, whatever. I don't really care. But look at the apple cider vinegar. You see that it's up 3/4 of the pan. Half that's gonna be gone by the end. It's gonna cook out, it's gonna evaporate, it's gonna suck in. You will know when it's done when you can pull that bone straight out. You need to take the temperature on it, but typically when the bone can just go bloop, it's done. Don't cook it too fast, because if that bone is hard to wiggle out, it may be temperature wise right, but it would be gummy on the inside. So cook it slow, wait till that bone can easily pull out with 2 fingers, and then check your temperature. You should be good. We'll put aluminum foil on this, turn it sideways, close the lid.
I wish. I'm waiting on it to get spotted in the like a boat. Then we go test it out.
All right, I just put the ribs on. 3 hours, hour and a half on one side, hour and a half on the other side. We'll check them a little bit before 3 hours. When we go pick them up, I'll show you how I check to see if my ribs are ready. The same brown sugar mix. Yeah, I changed shirts. It was an 80s party. Don't judge me. Here's the picture. All right, time to flip them. All right, you need to temperature probe your ribs, but the way I do it, you pick up on one end, I can get up under it. If it bends in half, it's good. Plus it's falling off the bone. Look at that.
Get out of there.
Comment, tell me what y'all like about that.